Mr. Merante, we are here again for this interview, and it feels like it was just, last month that I was here for the first time that you were elected to the council. Time flies.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
In no time is one season after season after season. Now, in these years, what has been done, Mr. Merante?
A lot. A lot. It's been an honor to be the councilman here for the last 4 years. We've accomplished a lot. What starts out as being a legislative job turns out to be a customer service job. We've taken care of a lot of problems for the city. We've moved it forward. Infrastructure, taxes, trying to keep taxes under control. Fixing whatever the people need. My biggest issue in this city is police and safety. I always wanted to make sure that the people of the city of Yonkers, not just the 6th district, but the whole city, they have to go to bed knowing that they're safe. If we don't have safety, which is the #1 quality of life issue in my estimation, the quality of life with the police, knowing that they're there and they have all the tools that they need to protect us day and night is utmost importance to me. Because if we can't go to bed at night knowing that our houses are safe, our cars are safe, our family is safe, we have nothing. So I've pretty much wanted to make safety. I look at safety as my #1 issue to keep the city moving forward.
Now, Mr. Merante, it must be a tough job. You are a CPA.
Yes.
But somehow you decided that you wanted to be a councilman and work for the city of Yonkers and for the people of Yonkers, because at the end of the day, your job is make sure that the concerns of the people are heard, that they be taken care of.
Yes.
What was the motivation? Why did you felt like you needed to do this?
I've been a community person since I basically got here to Yonkers, and next week I'll be celebrating my 34th anniversary here in the city. I got involved with civic association, with my local civic association, multiple civic associations. It's a special kind of calling when you go out and you're trying to help others. Okay, it's one thing that when you want to become a coach of the Little League because your kids are on the Little League. You're helping other kids, including your own. This type of a job is something that you have to feel that you're going to help people, strangers, for whatever it is. Knowing that, and that's exactly what as a CPA too. I mean, that's what I do. Is I just help people all day long. It's a focused area. Civic association work and being a city council person is the same thing. We're just, we have a little more influence on getting it done now. So I've always been active in the community, whether it be my Spring Lake Knolls, which I'm still the president, the First Precinct Community Council. I've enjoyed civic associations outside of mine, in the Para Park when it was active. I go to the Neppahan Community Center meetings, because what goes on in this city is very important. So I just always felt it was important to know what's going on in this city, and I took it to the next level.
Now, you are a Republican, and it's no secret about it.
Absolutely not.
But when it comes to now you are sitting Republican in a Democratic city, do you have a tendency to work best in a Republican line, or to you, we are all the same, we are the people of Yonkers, and regardless of your political inclination, you will work for the best of the city?
That's absolutely correct. When a constituent calls my office, we want to know where the problem is and what we can fix. We don't say, are you a Democrat or are you a Republican? That's not what we do. Someone I run into the street and they say, Councilman Merante, I don't say, stop, are you a Democrat or are you a Republican? No, that is correct. I take care of, I was elected by all the people. Maybe might have been a little bit leaning, the Republicans might have voted a little bit more for me than Democrats, but the point of the matter here is I'm now the councilman for all the people of the 6th District.
Correct. Once you're elected, you don't become a Republican elected official, even though you might have your personal ideology, But you are a councilman for the people, regardless of who they are.
Local council people, it's not, again, it's local politicians are about the people of the area. That's it. Bottom line, what do they care? They care about quality of life. That is what people care about. They get their streets paved, police protection, garbage pickup, simple things in life, making sure the water's flowing, infrastructure, making sure people, again, we want to make people feel good no matter who they are. That's all I care about, is that everyone has what they need to live a nice, comfortable life.
A few years ago, I saw a movie. I don't remember the name of the movie. And one of the lines was, "Show me the money." Show me the money. In your term, if I would say, show me the accomplishments, what would they be?
Well, again, I focused on paving streets, because I think that's where people recognize your city outside of police safety, which, remember, it's a back burner that people don't even, people take things for granted. So we want to take things for granted. Well, people take their safety for granted, but I don't. But as far as the accomplishments that people will see, I said the streets. If people walk out their house and they have, and they're driving down bumpy roads, they're not happy. Streets, I think, make people feel dignified. I have tackled, as far as, again, the infrastructure side of it. Okay, that's my other part of it, is the infrastructure. There are projects. We have a Mile Square Road off of Tuckahoe Road. There's a one-lane bridge right up back there. I worked with the county, and we had that bridge restored properly. So I got to say, in my first year on the council, I probably received 1 or 2 phone calls a week regarding that one-lane bridge. It was falling apart. Worked with the city, worked with the county. We got the job done right. I didn't rush it. We got it done right. Water projects are very important here in the city. There's on Suffolk Trail here in Yonkers, right off of Sprain Road, they had a sanitary sewer line installed. For years, they were waiting for that project to be done. It's still not 100% complete. We have one more section to do, but it's a big project. We got it done. As far as water, I think that the water department has been has come to a position now where I won't accept. I did 2 things for granted. Another thing that we take in the morning is when we wake up in the morning, we turn the lights on and we turn the water on. We take it for granted. I have making sure that the water department, in addition to the police department, have the resources they need so that when there's a water main break, nobody in the city of Yonkers should ever be without water for more than 2 hours. We have enough men, we have the equipment. I don't want to hear anything else. Those are the things that I want to make sure of, that when people call for service, when they call for service, they should be addressed immediately, especially when it comes to, again, taking the water, for instance, there's seniors, there's people with the young children. You need to make sure that they don't, they're not taken for granted, and I don't. I make sure they have that. The water projects are important. As far as other projects that we did, we've also done projects, large project, which again was not all under my jurisdiction, but it was in my district, was the one of the major issues that I've been hearing about for the last couple of weeks is the Sprain Lake. The gatehouse in the Sprain Lake has been repaired, all 5 gates replaced, and we now, again, we are not kicking the can in terms of that project any longer. So I like to get projects done. There's a pump house right up the block here next to the firehouse that was done under during my time. A lot of big projects. So I like to get things done. I'm not a can kicker. I like to get things done.
Now, there is problems that goes often on the other districts that might not be affected as much to your district, which is crime and education. Mm-hmm. Are those 2 issues important to you as well?
Well, as I said, if the police are my, safety is number 1, it's obviously that crime. the good and bad about, and again, I go to the 1st precinct meetings all the time. I go to the 4th precinct. I touch on the 4th precinct. I touch on the 2nd precinct. I have relationships with the captains of all those precincts. I know the captain of the 3rd precinct too, but I don't have too much. I don't have any parts of the 3rd precinct. Answer is, crime is safety with the police all go together. So yes, I'm very interested, and the good news is, the crimes that we have that are occurring here are, mostly car break-ins. So, and it's all people's fault. Lock your car. If you lock your car, you won't have any problems. That's the number one thing. Put your lights on at night. Now, education. I've been an education advocate. That's how I really got started into this, was when my kids went to school. My kids are products of the Yonkers Public School, and I got heavily involved way back, probably, my son's 20, he's going to be 27 years old, so I would probably say 21, 22 years ago, I started getting involved with education. And I do my best to fund the schools, although it's the state's responsibility. I don't like to take that responsibility away from them. So we then do what we can to make sure that the Board of Education have the resources to make sure that the kids, the teachers, and everyone that works there has a dignified place to work, and hopefully have all the tools that they need to be successful, because if our kids are successful, we're successful.
Now, what about the process? There is any kind of a proactive process, or you depend a lot on what people reach out to you and say, Mr. Merante, we have a problem on this field or that field. Do you actually take action to resolve those issues before they actually get to your desk, through a phone call, through an approach?
Sure. I could say that just driving the city, I'm constantly calling in issues to be repaired, whether it be a street sign's missing, whether it's a pothole, whatever. You see overgrown trees. Those are minor issues that I can see. If I can see it, I can call it in. But I only have 2 eyes, 2 ears, but I'm listening and looking. And yes, so the answer is, I move as long as I can see something happening, I react. However, you are my eyes and ears also. So as far as the question being, take it from a small scale issue to a large scale issue, as I said, I'm always focused on making sure the departments have what they need to take care of the people. That is the full, in terms of being proactive. Being proactive. As far as the day-to-day stuff, again, I do as much as I can to be proactive on those issues. As far as going to, driving the streets, just driving the streets to see where the problems are and what we can do to make the area better.
Now, Mr. Merante, I'm looking at my list of questions that I have to ask you, which I think is questions that the people of Yonkers have, because that's what's going to help them decide who the vote they vote should go for. And one of the questions I have is, you are a Republican. It's no secret.
Nope.
No secret. But you voted to extend the Democratic Mayor Spano's term over the previous 2-term limit. And you've been criticized for that. Why did you vote in that forum?
So that vote was probably, if not the toughest, one of the tough decisions that I had to make. When that was brought to my attention, I had to weigh it. Listen, I had to weigh that out. I have a Democratic mayor. The only there's an opportunity to possibly replace him, but I felt, again, if you see my campaign, it's all about you. It's not about me. So what I did was I went out at my own expense and I did a poll to see how the people of the city of Yonkers felt about the job that Mayor Spano was doing. The results came back on a more positive note. The city's moving forward. Let's keep the ship sailing in the same direction. So, albeit not a popular vote, it's what I believe the people of Yonkers wanted, at least at that particular time. So I took that vote. Not about me, remember, it's not about me.
It's exactly. I seen your billboards, and you clearly said it's not about me. It's about the people of
Absolutely.
Yonkers, and we condone you for that. But now let me ask you: most or all other council people drive city cars. You refuse to drive a city car.
That's correct.
Why is that? Is that to save taxpayers' money? It's a principle. Is that you see there is no need for that? What is your point with that?
I don't believe a council person, it's my decision. I'm not going to criticize my colleagues, that's their decision. I don't believe we should be, people of the city of Yonkers should be funding my car. I have a car. I don't need another car. Then I'm also saving, again, in terms of, I still feel every penny counts, and there is no need for the taxpayers to pay for my car. I have one. Why should I get another one? Why should we do that? It's not necessary. Save a couple of bucks here, a couple of bucks there before you know it adds up to something.
I'm one of those that strongly believes in actions, not words. No, people can sit and they can say everything that they want, the people want to hear, in order to get that vote. It seems like you are more about action than words. You put your action to the words that you're saying. Should more politicians, elected officials, be that way? Shows what you mean by the things that you do.
Well, I always, when I wake up in the morning and I look in the mirror, there's two things. Did I do the right thing? And did I do the right thing? I always do my best to try and do the best thing. The best I can do. That's all I can try to do. And I'm my worst enemy because I wish I could do more. So as far as when I can only talk about me. I can't talk about anybody else, what they want to do in life. My job is to make sure that the people of my district are safe and they have everything they need for a quality of life. That's all I care about is what's important to them. What's important to them. I don't think about anybody else. I'm not looking for any particular job. I'm not trying to decide, but I do the right thing at the moment that I think is right at the moment.
When you first took office, you voted for a budget with tax increase. Why was that different from the subsequent budgets?
Well, so I work very well with the mayor and his administration. I think he's got a very good team, but I sat down with the mayor back then, and that would be the 1920 budget. And the contracts for, Yonkers is a union town. And the one thing that I'm not going to do is jeopardize safety in the city. So the city continues to be shortchanged by the state. That's the bottom line. When you do the calculations, we send up $450, $500 million. The city of Yonkers, our taxpayers and our tax dollars and our sales tax. Every time you spend a buck on sales tax, they get they get about 40% of it. So I asked the mayor. I said, Mayor, why did you sign off on that contract when you didn't have the money? And he responded by saying, the state didn't fulfill what they said they were going to do. The city departments, forget about education for a second. We get $108 million a year from the state. It's our money, not your money. It's not that. It's our money. We sent it north. It didn't flow south. So I'm still fighting. That $108 million has been the same number for probably 12 years now. So when I sat down with the mayor and asked him about that, I didn't feel at that particular year that it was fair, because we would have reduced that budget, there would have been lost jobs. And I didn't feel at that point in my tenure, because I did not vote for those contracts, that it would be fair to the city to jeopardize safety. Okay, so again, tough decision number 2 was voting for that increase. So now it's on me. Right now it's on me. I voted for the increase. I feel comfortable, and I'm glad I did, for the mere fact, as you can see, what's been happening over the past couple of years. There's been a lot of unrest in a lot of cities. It didn't happen in the city of Yonkers. I feel we were fully staffed. Our men and women of the police department were good. Our fire department is good. We had COVID. Again, we had the right staff. So the decision to raise the taxes in order to fulfill the safety needs of this city were more important. But I drew the line there, because in the subsequent year, the mayor had a modest increase of a little over 1%. I said, nope, not raising it. I'm not voting for it. So I think that the mayor, out of respect for me, in the last budget, proposed, and we even made sure it came out to be 0, although we can talk about what the state did to us too, is that I voted no on the subsequent issue of a small increase, but then I voted yes because we got a 0 in. We got a 0 increase for this current fiscal year, the 21-22 budget. So this, again, the administration worked with me. We made adjustments, and I'm a happy camper. 0 is good. 0 is good. So I'm happy. Now, what the state did, and Senator Cousins, I wrote her a letter. What they did, people called up and said, "Wait a second, Anthony, you said our taxes were going to go, we're going to be." I said, "So what happened?" Well, those folks that get the star credit, the star credit gets adjusted by the value of your property. So the state basically gets to say, "Okay, we don't have to give you this money; you give it to the state." So the city was on calculating their real estate taxes, came up with a certain number, 350 million. Don't hold me to the exact number, but so the city gets the same money, whether they get it from us or they get it from us and the state. They still get it for the sewer, but the state now has to give less of a contribution. So I'm not happy with that, although it's what it is. I want the money back. Now, the state can brag that they gave us all this extra money this year. Don't brag. It's our money. Just remember that. For all these years, the state has been shortchanging us. And hopefully they've put this kitty aside, because the senator, Senator Cousins was talking about how, they gave extra money for the schools. Recently, there was a PTA meeting last Monday, this past Monday, which I attended, and she was explaining how the state gave the school extra money. Well, that's very nice. It's ours. Of course you gave it. It's us. You finally released the purse strings. I don't know, did it have something, did it have something to do with with COVID? I don't care what it is. We got the extra money. It's our money. But again, the state, remember, we send a lot of money up. It doesn't always come down. The difference is about $50 million a year.
So in other words, this is like you giving me $1,000 and I give you 1,000 back, and now I'm bragging that I gave you money.
That's right.
It's your money.
It's my money. Exactly right.
So nothing was given.
Nothing's given. It's all our money. It's all our money. Don't forget, it's all our money. You go out, when you buy something at the store, you pay that sales tax. That's your money going on. The stores just are the intermediary between you and the state, and then they control the money.
So, but it could have been worse. They could have kept the money, but at least this time around they send back our money and make it look like they gave something back to the people of Yonkers.
Optics are good.
Illusion.
Optics are good. Optics are good. Optics are good. And listen, I'm glad to have it. I'm not going to listen. What I'm concerned about, they gave extra money to the schools. Dr. Quesada is going to be able to have a lot of programs. So I'm happy. I'm not. Listen, music and art was one of the big things that was cut. I'm glad that hopefully he'll be able to, psychologists, all these other nice programs. I'm very happy for him to get those programs underway. My concern is it's the same thing that happened when the DSEG settled many years ago, that you got this extra money, but then there's a cliff. So I'm hoping, Yonkers continues to grow. We're doing very well as a fiscal entity. We're doing very well, although I'm very concerned about the current federal position on issues with the inflation and stuff at this point.
But before we get there, and since you brought up Dr. Quesada, it's a lot of people contacting us with serious concern. Yes, COVID is hopefully is on the way out. Schools are back on. Teachers are there. Some kids are going to school, but lots of kids are left behind because there is no transportation to take them to school.
Big problem.
It's a problem.
It's a problem.
Yeah, you open schools.
He doesn't hide it. He knows that's a thorn in his side.
Yeah, and this is no surprise because months before they knew they had not enough drivers to drive the kids back to school. How do you see that problem, Mr. Merante?
Well, I'm not putting it all on Dr. Quesada.
So who you put it on?
Well, the bus.
Where was the failure?
Where's the failure? The root cause, depending on where you want to go, and I'm not going to go into those weeds of the programs, but I think a lot of people were happy, with the stimulus money. The stimulus money was good. The additional stimulus money was not necessary, especially that extra $300 on the on unemployment. So a lot of people getting regular unemployment and the enhanced unemployment, they're going on with $500, $600, $700 a week. Why should I go to work? Why should I be aggravated for $700?
And let me put it out that with the stimulus money and the extended, some of them were actually making more money than they were making when they were working. Nevertheless, we have a problem now.
Well, again, I think that, to not go off a tangent as far as the city of Yonkers and the federal government and the policies and what's happening, we got to deal with it. The bottom line is we have to deal with it. And I think Dr. Quesada, they go into the summer thinking about focusing on repairing our schools, getting them ready for the kids. They have 2 months to do a lot of work. We give them a lot of money to do repairs, and they do a great job. Sometimes, you can stay on top of these bus companies, because the bus companies are really the ultimate, problem. They're the ones that sign the contract. If we pay the contract, if I pay you to go do a job, and you count the fact that you need to do with 2 or 3 people behind you, I don't know, I'm just throwing it out at you, and you don't have those people to do the job, whose fault? Was it my fault? I paid you. I gave you the money. You said, yeah, I'll give you $1,000. Give me $1,000. I'll do this for you. And if I give you the money and then you don't supply it, and then who's the fall guy? Dr. Quesada. So Dr. Quesada is, he pushed as hard as he could, and he's concerned. But I think that hopefully, I'm really being hopeful that in short time we'll be back to normal.
There was a school that fixed that problem not long ago, a school district. What they did to resolve the problem, and they got tons of people, applying, was they paid the bus drivers a little more. That might be a possible solution, because let me throw your example back at me. You give Rue $1,000 to do a job. Rue doesn't do the job because of whatever reason, A, B, or C. You are going to come to Rue and say, Rue, I don't care about the problems that you have.
Right.
I gave you money to do the job. You gave me a quote and I gave you the money. I want the job done. If you have to pay more people more money, well, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose.
So
shouldn't be the same applicable to Dr. Quesada.
Again, right now, I'm not going to go. That's a discussion that I'll be glad to have with you after November 2nd, because again, you want to talk about, not talking about a council position and things. Now you want to talk economics.
But
now
they're affecting your people
well,
in your district.
Again, the contracts, if the folks that signed the contract with Dr. Quesada, okay, they are responsible for getting the drivers. It's their bus company. If that was the case, then we'd buy our own buses and we'll hire our own. We don't. They work for the bus company. It's another whole different story. You're going off on a tangent. So the point is that the bus company, okay. Now, It's about the bus company, and like I said, I'm not here to talk about the bus companies. As far as those individuals getting paid, it was up to them when they negotiated the contract with the city to build the pay to have the driver. So it's on the bus companies. It's not on Dr.
No,
Desai.
I understand. But the reason I'm asking, because we are in election time, and people will have to decide, who do I vote for? Do I vote for the person that understands the problem and has possible solutions or not? I understand what you are saying, but the people out there that lives in your district, my district, and other districts are suffering from a common problem. They all have the same problems because they all have kids. And they want to hear from the councilman what is the issue, what are the possible solutions, in order to decide, okay, this councilman has a possible solution, maybe is the one that deserves our vote. But I do understand that this is not a problem that the council has, it's a problem with the Board of Education, bus companies, and all that. Now,
give me a problem that I can fix. Like, again, that's why we're two separate entities over here. And then, although at the end of the day, I care about my kids. I care about my kids. When I was elected, I always said, I said to my wife, what are we going to do for Christmas this year? We got 27,000 new kids to take care of.
No, I understand that. But you see, I think the people of Yonkers, it's bright and smart enough to understand that council body and council members cannot solve every single problem in Yonkers, but some do think that they can. Some think that every problem lays on your lap when it's not. So sometimes educating and informing the people, look, I realize we have a problem, but unfortunately that problem lays on somebody's lap to resolve.
Right.
It's important, because otherwise you become everything: the therapist, the counselor, the babysitter, and everything is going to be calling you, Mr. Merante, I have this problem, I have that problem, because they don't understand what are the functions of each department, of each body in government. That was my point of asking.
And going back to the root, at the end of the day, during my tenure on the council, because it all comes down to funding, we have funded, I believe it's a little over $25 million additionally on top of what was there from 4 years ago. So we have not neglected the Board of Education. Okay, again, state, it goes down to the state. It's our money, it goes north, it's not coming south. And that I will continue to fight for, because yes, then it's in the hands of Senator Cousins and Senator Mayer and Senator Nader Sayegh and Gary Pretlow. They have to bring the money back down here, and I will advocate to get money from them, because it's our money. All I'm on the city side is give me more AIM money, which we're entitled to. But, we're a union town, certain things, but the bottom line is we have funded the Board of Education additional $25 million over the last 4 years. So we have not neglected the schools, and that's all we can do is give them the money.
So, and that's the whole point. At least now people are listening to you and saying, okay, we thought that this is a problem within Yonkers, but it's not a problem in Yonkers. It's a problem with the funds returning to Yonkers. It goes north, but does not flow back south.
That's correct.
Something else that I have covered a few times, and we need to touch lightly on it. UPS.
Okay.
I don't know if you can go into much details about it, but superficially, tell us what's going on, what was accomplished with the protest that we had. Where does it stand?
Well, let's go back to the root, because there's other things developing in the city also. When a project comes before me, I bring it to the people. Okay? Remember, it's not about me, right, Rue? It's about you. It's all about you. So when UPS came, and I have nothing, listen, UPS is a great company. I had nothing to get about UPS, but and them, their representatives were very gracious. We met at the Hampton Inn. I brought the community, and I brought the developer in. And the issues that came out of it, at the end of the day, really only came down to a couple of matters. big thing being the gas tanks. They want to have gas on premise. Okay, save a couple of bucks, right? It's a lot of money, especially nowadays. Back then, that wasn't. Now gas is at least $1 a gallon more. But the point was they wanted to put 2 10,000-gallon tanks, one diesel, one regular, above ground. I told them, stay away from these tanks. The people do not want the tanks. If anything, put them in the ground. So that is what was the big issue, plus the fact that they took away the green space. They needed additional parking in the back. That didn't make too many people happy because way back in 2014, the owners of the property made a deal with the community to build the Hampton Inn at the cost of not allowing them to use any additional green space on the property. So the debate is on. Was it only the green space north of the Hampton Inn, or was it all of the north end property on the property? So as you know, they ended up building a parking lot near East Grassy Sprain Road, and I personally think it was a violation of the agreement that they made back in 2014. So the people were not very happy with, number one, giving up the green space, and number two, having the tanks. What transpired, and we fought as hard as we could. Unfortunately, the planning department and the zoning board ruled in favor of the developer. The only thing that they didn't count on was that 2 residents reached into their pocket and sued UPS. It's still in court. I haven't I haven't heard any. I don't think it's been resolved. Gretchen Walsh, I think, is the judge on this case, and they took it to court. And these folks reached into their pocket to the tune of $40,000 probably at this particular point in time. So that's what people don't. My part of this was setting up all the meetings so that the people could understand what the case was. When we realized what the problems were, 2 individuals took it upon themselves to say, we're not going to accept the results, we're going to court, and that's where they are right now. So as far as I know, it's still in court. I have not heard about any resolution, but I don't think we're going to have gas tanks above ground because I think the ruling that I don't think that the ruling that the city made, I think it overruled a state law. And that's the last I heard, and I don't know exactly where it is right now at this point.
Now, Anthony,
It's all about customer service, advocating for my constituents. They wanted to get, and we brought the people together. We have another one developing, if you'd like to hear about one quick one.
Yeah, well, sure. Why not?
We have something developing right here, right up the block north here on Central Avenue. It was at the planning board the other day. The old HSBC facility is going to be the plans are in to make it a Chick-fil-A. Multiple issues regarding Chick-fil-A. I'm just thinking about it from the residents' point of view. It's all about them, the neighbors. Remember what I said to you about UPS? They were good enough to come to the people and bring the issues to the people, so the people came back and questioned. The folks at Chick-fil-A did not do that. I went to the planning board meeting the other night and had to tell them, why didn't you talk to the community about this yet? And it's in the plan. So we're, again, right, and we're waiting for that. But again, it's about me intervening on behalf of my constituents, because Chick-fil-A, especially initially, it'll be the only Chick-fil-A in the city, in Westchester County. Tax-wise, I'm going to love it. But you see how McDonald's is, the planning board, whatever they did on Tuckahoe Road, there's a big problem on Tuckahoe Road's McDonald's because it backs up into the street, creates a lot of traffic issues. I haven't heard about bad accidents. That's why I haven't asked the captain about it. But this is going to create a traffic situation that we need to get the community involved. And I'm there, and I'm going to be there for the community.
Now, Mr. Merante, as you know, this is being broadcasted live, and people are asking questions because, after all, you're running for position, and there is people that wants to engage and ask you questions. And one of the questions that it's coming in is, what about affordable housing? And how do you feel about an affordable housing complex buildings being built in your district. How do you think you would see that, handle that, and how would the people from your district feel about it?
Well, I am not in favor of changing zoning. Okay, we are zoned for what we're zoned for. So let's make that clear. Okay, I'm here. If we bring in a development, the current rule state, 10% has to go to affordable housing. That's the rule. We live by it. But we're not changing zoning.
10%. Some of your colleagues were aiming at 20%. The mayor has vetoed that. Where do you sit on that?
I voted no for 20%.
Where would you be comfortable with?
Other municipalities have gone up to, I think, 12, 13%. I think that's fair. Even if it goes up in an interval, maybe, 2% one year, maybe after 5 years go to 13, go to 12, go to 13. I have to see how the results are with regard to development, because development is important for our progress. So I want to make sure that we don't, because once you make that commitment, it's done. I want to make sure we do this properly, and it has to be done to be favorable to the people of Yonkers. I did have some constituents who are in favor of increasing the affordable housing, because we want to be fair. People deserve a place to live, okay? And it's expensive, There's no question about it. I don't know how some people survive, at the cost, and God knows under this administration it's even going to go be more. But that's another issue after the election. So the point of the matter here is that we have to make sure that whatever affordable housing issues we do, accomplish, it's got to be for the benefit of the people of the city of Yonkers. That it's not just I don't want a bunch of outsiders coming in. We build these houses and then others take it. It's got to be for our people. So, and again, I'm not sure of the legalities behind it, but I want to just make sure that it's the right thing. But 20, the problem that they had there was that they pushed 20. And we told them no. Mike Green and myself, my colleague from the 5th District, we told them we're not voting for anything, go to the 12, go to 13, you got our ear. Let's talk. If they were stubborn on the 20%, I understand, that's fair,
Was the counter office made, look, okay, 20% might be too high, investors will not come because investors make money in order to generate a profit.
That's right, that's correct.
That's what they're there.
That's correct.
But did anyone came back and said, look, 20% is too high, we settle with 15? Because look, yes, you want to help Yonkers, you want to help the people of Yonkers, but with these high rents and a 10%, we are seeing lots of people in Yonkers that do work, but are on the street because they cannot afford the new rents in Yonkers. So no. It's a complex problem that many of us don't understand.
All I can say is it was not a decision that was made in one meeting. The real estate chair must have had a minimum of 5 meetings to discuss.
We talk about who's the...
John Rubo.
John Rubo.
And he brought everybody in. He brought a lot of people in, and the consensus was that, it probably is not a good idea to go to 20%. So.
And that has died, right?
Well, it's right now. It was held up. It was on for a vote because we have from 30 days from when we went back into session. I was ready to vote. I was not going to override the mayor's veto. They chose to hold. They wanted to hold it. So it's now sitting. It's now sitting in the council. It's sitting on the. So we have 30 days. Otherwise, the veto holds. To override, obviously.
Yeah. Well, Mr. Merante, we have to conclude this interview. We can have another one, talk about other issues. But I would like you to look straight in the camera and tell the people of Yonkers, people of your district,
sure,
why you feel that you are the best person for the job. Because there is lots of people that have not made their minds yet. And they're looking at these interviews on the hopes that, okay, maybe I hear something that will tell me he is the person for the job or so is the person for the job. Please take this opportunity to tell them why you should continue on your position and finish the work that needs to be finished or start new projects that needs to be started.
Well, Ru, again, thank you for the opportunity. It's always a pleasure to speak with you. For the last 4 years, I've had the honor of being the council member from the 6th District. I have worked tirelessly every day to make sure that all of your concerns have been addressed. I may not be batting 1,000, we're batting in the high 900s. I've been there for people that have called when there's serious matters involved. We jump, serious matters take priority, but we take care of every matter that comes before us, whether you email us or you call us. I'm there for you. I have worked on numerous projects that have been sitting in abeyance that I have not let sit idly by. I address them as they come along. We've been active in moving projects to clean things up. Eyesores, I continue to feel that your quality of life is my most important thing, especially safety. Because remember, my campaign is not about me, it's about you. You and your life. You must have the best quality of life that you can have in the city of Yonkers. I'm focused on the 6th District. I'm focused on the city of Yonkers. I plan on being your councilman for the next 4 years and continuing the work, your work. It's not about me, it's about you. Look forward to it. Vote for me on November 2nd. Thank you very much.
Well, you heard it. Simply put, Mr. Merante's campaign is not about Mr. Merante. It's about you, the people of Yonkers. So if you feel like he's the best person for the job, cast your vote in his favor. Thank you for watching, Mr. Merante. Thank you for taking the time to be sitting here with us.
Thank you.
And speak with the people of Yonkers and let them know that your vote does matter. Don't take it for granted. Do not think that, oh, my vote doesn't matter. Every single vote matters.
Ru, you remember, I'm the poster child for every vote counts. I won by 15 votes in 2017.
So it couldn't be said better than that. Every single vote matters. We can sit in our living rooms criticizing or favoring this person or that person, but that does not count unless you come out and vote. Voting days is?
Voting day is Tuesday, November 2nd. Early voting starts Saturday, October 23rd and goes till Sunday, October 31st.
Just around the corner. Thank you guys for watching. Until next time, Yonkers Voice addressing the things that we feel is important for the people of Yonkers. Thank you and hope to see you guys back soon. Mr. Anthony, thank you very much.
Thank you.